yourself and discuss.
My name is Miguel Ibanez. I'm the president of North Bennett Street School, and I haven't been here for a couple of years. Thank you for supporting us several years ago when we moved, and Elliott School transformation as well. I'm here tonight to talk about 128 North Street. It's the building that's owned by the Department of Transportation, the Traffic Tunnel Administration building, and it's a very small 6,000 square foot building, which is contiguous with our building and was originally built as a part of our building. We have always sort of had our eye on it as an expansion possibility for us, and our building in fact feeds the water supply for that building, and we used to feed the electrical, and we don't anymore, but the two buildings are very much joined. It has come to our, I've been talking to Sherry Sumner and NEMPAC for quite a while about their needs, and Diane's here to help me. I'm just trying to introduce this because we obviously want the building, but we also respect NEMPAC and don't want to ever be in conflict with another North End community service, nonprofit, something that's as valuable as NEMPAC. So what I'd like to sort of explain our reasoning, and that is sort of as follows. It's a very small building, about 1,500 square feet per floor, which is like a one-bedroom apartment. And it has 2 fire stairs, 2 toilets on each floor. It is not accessible. It has no handicapped entrance. And it is an historic building. It's eligible for the National Register. It's not listed, but it's eligible because we put all of those buildings. When we did our renovation, we used historic preservation tax credits, and Mass Historic Commission saw the whole thing as a single instance. So it's protected historically. If we were to successfully bid on it and own it, the benefits for us would be we could remove the fire stairs because we have a fire stair right there. We would need no toilets. We would need no accessible entrance, so the front of that building would not be changed in any way. We wouldn't put a ramp up there or anything. And we would not need an elevator. If another public use were to take that building on and renovate it, it would be accessible. They would have all the access issues, all the improvement issues. They would need the 2 stairs. So it would be really efficient for us to have it, and it would be less efficient for anyone else to have it. We could sort of capitalize on all the improvements. For a 6,000 square foot building, the renovation costs are going to be substantial. When we did ours, we know that there's hazardous materials in the mastic for the floors, in the caulking around the windows. There's that cupola up top, which is going to needs repair, and it's going to be. So, I mean, if I were to pick a 6,000 square foot building to take on solo, that would be the last one I would want in terms of the renovation cost per square foot, sort of out of the realm of appropriate the kind of budget that you'd have to renovate that thing if that's all you need. But for us, it sort of makes sense. So with that as the context, now we talk to Diana and NEMPAC and say, how can we work together? And Diana has told me that NEMPAC's taken a vote to bid on the building as the developer, and I respect that, and I just want you to know that we will probably bid on it too, and maybe there'll be some way we can work together so that we can take on some of the costs, or if we were to give them space in the building or something. I don't know what might be, but I would then defer to Diane, whatever, to make her own presentation if she would.
Thank you, Mr. Welch. Actually, your words were not very comforting after I learned about how much it could cost or what some of the issues are with the building. But for those of you, I'm Diane Royal, and I'm president of the board of directors for the North End Music and Performing Arts Center. That's a pamphlet of ours for those of you who do not know about NEMPAC. We obviously are a growing music school and performing arts center. We are growing to the point where the 4 rooms on the Palm Bear Mall just don't make it for us. We have rented space. We're presently renting space at House Street. We get some free space. Unfortunately, anything that's given to us for additional space for classes is sometimes taken away from us. So now we're frantically looking for where can we have this class. In the wintertime, parents have no waiting room to wait for their children. We have one small office, so our executive director sometimes has to work off-site. And it's getting to the point where, unfortunately, I'm sorry I have to say this, that we are losing students because of the conditions of that four-room building on the Pony Pier Hall. The former tunnel transportation building came to our attention, and it was a developer, and he was hoping that maybe he could help us get this building by a joint application to the Department of Transportation through the request for proposal. And it was tantalizing, but it would only be 3,000 square feet. So obviously 3,000 square feet is not going to make it. We need the whole building. We need the 6,000 square feet. We are well aware of the renovations that have to be made. Our students and our performances come first. So we're willing to stick our necks out. We're going to work hard to raise money and hopefully be able to have enough funding to bid on the building. And if it has to be a phase 2 project for reconstruction, then we'll go with a phase 2 project. So phase 1 is acquiring the space, and phase 2 would be the construction. NetPAC is the gem, one of the gems. I don't want to put us first before any other nonprofit, but we are one of the gems of the North End. We have been teaching children for 15 years how to play an instrument, to sing. We have a children's music theater. We have fabulous summer concerts at the Christopher Columbus Park. This year we're having them on the Prado because the Prado will be out of commission next year. And we figured the last year of the original Prado would be a nice time to have concerts. We have an opera in June, coming up June 22nd through the 24th. We have that Great Hall at Faneuil Hall. And we have the winter concert series. And we do so many other things. But we're hoping that the community will support us. And it's unfortunate that we will be in competition with the North Bennett Street School. But the board took a vote, and we voted to proceed with funding to acquire this building, to respond to the RFP, and of course, in the best interest of NetPAC, well, I hope we win the bid. So we'll see.
I agree with everything Diane said. Everything I said. The thing that's killing me is that this appears to be the only solution for NetPAC, which is really unfortunate. And there's no doubt that everything she said about the need and the value to the community is true. There's nothing that we would want to do to try to go against that. So if there's a way we can work together, we're gonna look for it. And if the building, I mean, how long have we all sat here saying the RFP is coming out next month?
I know.
It's been 3 or 4 years for me following this thing. It started with the acquisition of 150 North Street. So this is like something I don't know is preventing this RFP from coming out. But eventually it will come out, I imagine. And then that, the more time that it takes to come out, the more time NetPAC gets to sort of organize and raise money. But I just don't want to be in a position, I don't want North Bennett Street School to be in an adversarial position with this neighborhood or with NEMPAC or anything. If we have more resources, which we do at the moment, and we can get the building and give them space, that's what we'll do. We'll see how it goes.
But we need 6,000 square feet to make it work for us, for our organization, for our music school. And I want you all to know, this is not the first building we've looked at. We have been searching for space for 2 years now. We looked at the Boston Harbor Church on Salutation Street. It was up for sale at one point, but now it isn't. We looked at the Knights of Columbus building, and that building is enormous and has some major problems as well. And we know that we cannot entertain something of that magnitude. So This is not our first venture of seeking space. We've been trying to find space for 2 years now, and our school is growing, and our kids are doing so well, and they love playing a musical instrument, they love singing, and they love acting. And so whatever we can
And
go forward
with all respect to NEMPAC, I think the building's too small for you.
well, our intentions are to keep the building on the Paul Revere Mall. That's a must. We have a very good relationship with the folks at the Robert White Foundation. They're always there to help us whenever we need assistance. And we're keeping that building, so that's another almost 2,000 square feet. So between the 6 and the 2, we can make it work very easily. And you know something? Space isn't forever. Who knows? You know, who knows down the road? Maybe we'll acquire another smaller space for other kinds of music. Maybe we'll definitely keep the drums on the Prado, you know? It's because we don't want to disrupt the North Bennett School. But who knows? You know, you can't plan for the rest of your life. But this is our venture.
Well, we certainly appreciate you coming before the both groups. Do you have any idea? I know that a couple years, I think it's now, where the parcel directly outside of it is the greenway maintains that grass.
Yeah.
How does that impact?
The last I heard from DOT, they were gonna retain that parcel and the parking lot across the street from us, that little triangular parking lot where they sometimes park their vehicles. That was the last. I've heard that it's gonna be a lease, a 99-year lease. I've heard it's gonna be a sale. I've heard that the greenway is gonna maintain a presence in the basement. I've heard that the greenway won't maintain it. So it changes month to month.
Is any-
Hopefully with the mayor's arts plan and that rollout, there's gonna be some big money around to really help impact and get this thing off the ground.
All right, well, I'll open up to the council first for any questions at the time.
How many students from last year and then this year? You said it was declining.
Our students have grown about 100, but right now we actually educate 900 kids, believe it or not, because we teach music at the St. John's and at the Elliott. We
Did they give you
hired,
the space for that?
we teach them at the schools. We hired the teacher through grants and through cooperation with the Elliott, and we hired the teacher jointly with the Elliott. And the teacher is really employed by NEMPAC, but works at the Elliott and same with St. John's. So, however the population is of those two buildings, and then we have about 200 students who take musical instruments and singing. And we probably have about 40 kids who play in the music theater every year, and we have 2 performances a year. We've also branched out into Charlestown, you may not know that. We're at a nursery school in Charlestown and an elementary school in Charlestown. So that is our hope, is to branch out to another community. We have students from Charlestown, the West End, Beacon Hill, and of course the North End. But we are not leaving the North End. And that's why it's so difficult to find space. Because you all know, space isn't at a premium in the North End unless you're very, very, very wealthy and you can tear down a building and rebuild something.
Or a bicycle.
But we're quite a busy little place.
Does anyone else have any questions before I open up to the audience?
I just have one question. Is there parking available there for you, or there's no parking?
I don't know that.
No parking.
No parking.
Okay, no
No,
parking.
I mean, last time I saw it, they put a little line around the front of that building and said, you only own the front steps. You know that little brick thing? Last thing I saw, there was an easement to come to the building on that, but it was going to be retained by
It's
the
just
park.
a question, not a moral comment.
No.
Anyone else from the audience? All right, well, thank you
Thank
both
you very much for
the update.
having
Appreciate you
Thank
coming.
you for allowing me to
Yeah,
speak.
of
I
course.
appreciate it.
Thank you both.
Not at all.
Yeah.
Right.